She convinced investors to give her over $700 million. Her company was worth $9 billion. She appeared on magazine covers and was called the next Steve Jobs. There was just one problem. The technology didn't work. How did one woman fool some of the smartest investors, executives, and politicians in America for nearly a decade? In the heart of Silicon Valley, where innovation was treated like magic and billionaires were modern-day heroes, a young woman named Elizabeth Holmes appeared to have discovered the future. She dropped out of Stanford University at the age of 19 and founded a startup called Theranos. Holmes claimed that her company had developed revolutionary technology capable of performing hundreds of medical tests using only a few drops of blood. It sounded impossible, but Holmes spoke with confidence. She dressed in black turtlenecks like Steve Jobs, lowered her voice to sound authoritative, and spoke passionately about changing healthcare forever. Investors, journalists, and business leaders were captivated. Soon, Theranos was valued at $9 billion, and Holmes herself became one of the youngest self-made billionaires in the world. Or so everyone believed. Theranos attracted some of the most powerful people in America. Former secretaries of state, military generals, senators, and famous business executives joined its board of directors. Investors poured hundreds of millions of dollars into the company. No one wanted to miss the next Apple. During presentations, Holmes demonstrated sleek blood testing machines called Edison devices. She promised that these machines would make healthcare faster, cheaper, and more accessible. Pharmacies partnered with Theranos. Magazines featured Holmes on their covers. Television networks praised her as a visionary. Everywhere she went, people saw a genius entrepreneur. Yet, behind the scenes, many employees knew a terrifying secret. The technology didn't work. Inside Theranos headquarters, scientists struggled daily with malfunctioning machines. Tests frequently produced inaccurate results. Many blood samples had to be secretly processed using traditional laboratory equipment purchased from other companies. Employees who questioned the company's claims were often ignored, pressured to stay silent, or pushed out. The culture of secrecy became extreme. Departments were isolated from one another. Workers were discouraged from sharing information. Documents were heavily controlled. The company wanted the world to believe it had achieved a scientific miracle, even though the miracle didn't exist. Still, investors kept writing checks. The company's value continued to rise, and Holmes continued to be celebrated as a billionaire genius. Most people accepted Theranos' story without challenge. One person didn't. His name was John Carreyrou, an investigative reporter at the Wall Street Journal. In 2015, sources began contacting him with disturbing claims. They said Theranos' technology wasn't performing as advertised. They described inaccurate medical tests and hidden failures. Carreyrou started digging. He interviewed former employees, reviewed internal documents, and verified information from multiple sources. Theranos fought back aggressively. Lawyers threatened whistleblowers. The company denied all accusations. Holmes insisted that Theranos was changing the world. But facts are stubborn things. The evidence kept growing. In October 2015, the Wall Street Journal published a bombshell investigation. The article shocked the business world. Suddenly, investors, regulators, and healthcare experts began asking hard questions. Government agencies launched investigations. Medical regulators inspected Theranos laboratories. More former employees stepped forward. One revelation led to another. The company's credibility crumbled. Partnerships disappeared. Investors lost confidence. What had once seemed like the most promising startup in Silicon Valley was turning into one of its biggest scandals. The collapse happened quickly. Theranos voided thousands of blood test results. Federal regulators sanctioned the company. Lawsuits piled up from investors and patients. The company's valuation plunged from billions of dollars to virtually nothing. In 2018, Theranos officially shut down. The company that had promised to transform medicine no longer existed. Elizabeth Holmes was no longer a billionaire. The fortune that had existed mostly on paper vanished. But the story wasn't over. Federal prosecutors charged Holmes with fraud. They argued that she had knowingly misled investors, business partners, and the public about Theranos' capabilities. The trial attracted worldwide attention. Witnesses described years of deception. Former employees testified about the company's internal struggles. Investors recounted how they had been persuaded to invest enormous sums of money. After months of testimony, a jury found Holmes guilty on multiple fraud-related charges. In 2022, she was sentenced to more than 11 years in federal prison. The woman once hailed as the future of healthcare had become a symbol of corporate deception. The Theranos story is not merely about one company or one person. It is a warning. People wanted to believe in a miracle so badly that many stopped asking difficult questions. Investors ignored warning signs. Board members lacked scientific expertise. Media outlets repeated bold claims without sufficient verification. The disaster showed that charisma is not evidence, and confidence is not proof. In the world of business, science, and investing, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Theranos became one of the most famous corporate failures in modern history, not because its technology changed the world, but because it never worked as promised. And so, the fake billionaire who fooled Wall Street became a cautionary tale for generations to come. Truth can be delayed, but eventually, reality always wins. Thank you for watching. Help us grow. Please like, subscribe, and comment for more business stories, billionaire rise and falls, corporate scandals, and startup success stories.